Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Garage Talks. My name is G, for those that don't know. With Heritage Group, we're here talking to Ken about his cool little man cave and his awesome cars that he has inside. So let's come on and take a look, see what he's got.
Afternoon, folks. Afternoon, G. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and privilege to share my man cave, which is located at an undisclosed location somewhere in the San Gabriel Valley. This is my space, my chill zone, my man cave, small slice of heaven, as you will. Originally, this space was actually a sewing factory. So lucky for me, we have all these drop down extension cords, so to speak. And we've got like a 440 light industrial service here because at one time this served as a sewing factory. And after that, the next owner was in the tile business, which kind of explains this sort of mosaic kind of tile layout. There's no rhyme or reason for this mixture of ceramic tile, Italian tile, granite, marble. It really is, it appears to be very random, but in actuality, at the time, this was a showroom for a gentleman in his tile business, and he had constructed small little bathrooms and kitchens to showcase the tiles that he sold. So when I purchased the space, my first thoughts was to tear it all out and do the conventional enamel, concrete, resurface it and enamel it and turn it into a really cool garage. But fortunately, and I'm glad I didn't, I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to retain some of the history of the building. And so it does become kind of a conversation piece when people come in, and it's kind of, aside from the cars, the second thing you know is like, oh, okay, this is sort of a random selection of flooring. Like, what's up with that? And so I really thought, okay, it is a piece of history. It's part of the building's DNA. Let's keep it. I guess when I purchased the building, it was really very industrial. It was very, very raw, and it was just kind of ugly, And so, like my cars, I wanted to personalize it, and so. In the world of social media, and I'm relatively new to Instagram, met these two young, talented artists on Instagram, and subsequently met them at a car meet. Carcadia 66, plug Glenn. And so met up with them, and we got to talking, and we these guys are youngsters, relatively speaking, in their young 20s, but shared the same passion and love for older 80s, 90s cars. And so at that time, Gil was displaying, I think, some of his artwork at Carcadia, and I said, wow, this guy's like really amazing. Inquired as to like what his, I wrongly assumed he was an art student or like an artist by trade, but it was really just a love and passion. It was just something that he loved to do, and he was just brilliant at it, self-taught, believe it or not. And so we got to talking, and shared with him about this space. I think he came over to check out some of the cars because he had seen some on Instagram, and just said, hey, have you guys ever done a mural? It's like, oh yeah, he's actually been commissioned, like flew to Hawaii for I think a couple weeks with Kelvin, and did this amazing mural, I think for a church. I know the subject matter was Jesus, and I'm like, all right, you're the man. You know, one, faith-based, you know, solid Christian. Second, loves cars, in that order. So I'm like, all right, you're my guy. So we got to talking, and you know, well, what do you want to paint? And so you know, I'll just run through it quickly. One, on the exterior, we've got the classical wood print Japanese painting of the wave. It's a very classical painting, wood block painting, with a little twist. We have Godzilla, whom, you know, I'm a big fan of, grew up watching as a kid, the black and whites. So hey, you know, let's integrate that into the painting. Second painting would be, behind that would be the LA skyline, with Elysian, and I wanted to integrate Elysian Park because Elysian Park is iconic, particularly like the lowrider scene, and to me sort of like defines like LA car culture, you know, which originated 50, 60 years, 70 years ago. So I want to integrate that. So it's sort of a hybrid of the LA skyline and Elysian. You can allude to Elysian Park, but the palm trees, the iconic California palm trees. Third would be the inside is of Cato the Rot, and I'm kind of like, I've always liked that lucky cat character, you know, with the paw that, you know, goes like that. And so we thought of something whimsical. Hey, let's just put Cato's face in place of the lucky cat, you know, and then that little plaque that he's holding is actually Cato in Japanese. And then last but not least, on the back side of the gate is Jesus Christ, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which is, of course, very meaningful to me and really the foundation of my faith. You know, just growing up, the BMW Marquis has just always been my favorite, and the cars that just speak to me. Of course, the E30 M3, legendary race history, heritage. You know, the M5. A buddy of mine drove that in college when I was still on my two-wheel bike, you know, and I said, one day, someday, when I can, I shall. And so we've got the M5 in the background. And so over the years, you know, I've been fortunate to have an opportunity to adopt and you know, become the new caretaker for these cars. And so the space, which was originally supposed to be, you know, to accommodate my business, became more of a sanctuary and rest place for my collection. You know, of course, the BMW Marquis always been one that I've loved. Mercedes being one that I appreciated, but quite frankly, none of my friends drove Mercedes back in the day. But I appreciate them for their engineering, and this is why we've got these two W124s in back of me, stacked on top of one another, which I love for different reasons. But the wagon behind us is a special car. The reason why it's special is because it's outfitted with the AMG package, which was not offered here in the U.S. This is a Japan imported car, and in the 90s, Japan had an AMG dealership, so to speak, where they can outfit cars. And so this car was outfitted, obviously, with, you know, the AMG body kit. So that car is special, but, you know, the funny story behind this is that this was a VAT purchase. I don't know if I shared this story with you. And so the bidding, I want to say it was a handful of guys initially, and as VAT auctions will you know, progress, eventually there's typically two guys standing at the end, right? And so, you know, I want to say there was maybe 5 originally, 5 bidders, 4, 3, 2. And so the auction, I forget at what number, I want to say maybe in the low 20s, that's when there was just 2 of us left. And so we're bidding 21, 22, 23. Don't quote me on the numbers, you can probably look it up. But what's funny is I recognized that the handle, and so then I text Mike, I'm like, bro, are you bidding on an AMG wagon? He goes, yes. Ken? I'm like, yeah. And so it's like, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, I want it. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. And so I want to say $15,000 later, it's mine, right? And so then I call him up afterwards. I'm like, bro, like, I think you owe me lunch, right? I was like, you just cost me. It's like, I could have had this, you know, $15,000 ago, more or less. So so the running joke is that, okay, I'm gonna come pick you up in this wagon and you're gonna pay for lunch, okay? So that was just hilarious. I was just like, no way. Like, of all places, car guy has an amazing collection as well. But this is just, he saw the value and how special it was. And that car also was outfitted with like this 80's Macintosh sound system, and as most cars from Japan are, it was immaculate, as is this one. Low mileage, and just really well taken care of, well maintained. And so for that reason, you know, that car is special. You had asked me earlier, like, what are your other favorite cars? A new favorite car that I like to drive in terms of coupes, because I've got the CSI with a 5-speed, but the Shark, the M6, is sort of my new favorite coupe to drive, only because I had recently had a full-blown Focal audio system installed in it, and it really does just kind of make the driving experience that much more enjoyable. I can play my favorite CDs, you know, we gotta keep it 90's.
Alright guys, so that concludes our Garage Talks video with Ken. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like our content and what we're putting out, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, let us know which car is your favorite, and stay tuned for the next one coming up. See you guys.